So I've got my hanger. This is Pixonic, my robot hanger or robots. So thank God for the new iPhone 15. It's all I need. But football in the background. I guess Michigan State is ahead of Purdue. Friday night. So let's see here. Get to the hanger and then there we go. So my Scorpion here is with a new iPad. You can change your speed and effects, but realistically, this one here I'm on a venomous, so I go pharaonic acoustic. I like that better. That's so it's got 3 of the halo. Those are halo, 1, 2, 3, and then this. So what my pilot for the Scorpion this time is Ren Zakaria, Chief Marin's little friend, my Native American amigo. So we'll go with Kylo Ren's my pilot, huh? Pharaoh is that. So acoustic or Pharaoh? I mean, obviously, for the hangar, these robots are over a lot of time, good to go. And I am 1-1 prime. That's my war robots. Let's see why. Where's that? Which is not very. There's my current hangar. My this is a good robot here. Tire. So I will go over here and change that one too. That is more of a dark, so it's Novum. Yeah. Filter. That I like to consider is its better. It's more of a purposeful. It's got the little. Let's see. Let's see. I have it there. Choose. And so what this is armed with here. This robot does not have any teleportation. She is the pilot, Iskra. She's not Miley Cyrus at this point, although she has some electric sparking ability there. So you go with that one, right? Tire in the white with the working kneecaps, capped in the knees. He's Beastie Boys. That's the drone there. But what the weapons there, so Magnetar and Ivory Atomizer on both are all, so you can see, equal. Back to what my Titan, which is not, doesn't have any paint right now, but that's pretty rad. Go back to what I want here. Standard is acoustic, and that will be choose acoustic. Pharaoh or acoustic. Acoustic. Oh, there it is. Acoustic. So this is my Scorpion, the acoustic. There we go. And it's just easy as. So I go back to skateboard over here. Call it the skateboard hanger. I've also got a Hercules DJ for this, which is really good. I would recommend it. It's basically got a lot of promise. Just for example, put the DJ right there on the deck, right? And I've got, turntables and a skateboard, so. No robots yet, but the hangar is, moving along there. Wherever it is. Okay. Okay. Hey, Mishu. I've got a black cat. So yeah, I like the new iPhone. It works well. Alexa, volume level 10. The ultimate suspension stand. I like it. Alexa, stop.
In 8 years, Michigan State has gone 4 drives, 4 scores to start a game. Chance to build on that out of halftime. Let's go down to Josh. Well, Coach, yesterday you told us how beat up you guys were on the defensive side of the ball, how short-handed you are. How would you say they answered the call so far in the first half? Yeah, pretty solid. Obviously, I think they're playing with some great effort, mixing up some looks, challenging on the outside, and it's a good start. Still another half of football. What's the out of your quarterback? I think we're efficient moving the ball. I think we scored every time we had it. You know, it's still
Alexa, play WPRB radio, Princeton radio.
WPRB Princeton 103.3 FM from TuneIn.
You know, there is a radio station that plays the entire country music family, and that station is the Big 615. Hey, I'm Stormy Warren, inviting you to join our global country music family. Just tell your device to play the Big 615 on TuneIn.
Welcome to TuneIn.
Shop Amazon's Black Friday week now with new deals added every day. Save on home goods to deck their homes, toys to stuff their stockings, and electronics like noise
Fender,
canceling headphones to silent their night. Shop great deals.
This tuner, it's called the Fender
Our
Bullet.
daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin,
I think it takes an LR44 battery.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
but it was actually
So-
our old detergent.
This
So
guitar
we
holds
switched
its
to Tide
tuning.
Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than
Very
any
well.
competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave
It's got,
behind
you
irritating
know, the metal
residues.
here.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on your
That
skin.
is a
Case closed.
metal
It's got
cord.
to be clean. It's got to be Tide Free and
And then
Gentle.
this is the headstock. So March 2008, made in Korea. That is this, which is considered good condition. I mean, that's the there are no active pickups in this. Just tone and then a bridge. The original everything, which is good. The Rockfield pickups, the top, the neck pickup, and the body pickup. So it's Friday night. So I'm trying to find some Slayer CDs because I don't have anything on compact disc by Slayer right now, but it'll be. Black Star amplifier. 300 watts, 250 cents. Clean. And I think anything that I could need to do with it. Was Cocktail, the movie Cocktail released with Tom Cruise. 1987.
All of the players that came back for senior. The pressure's on the entire Ohio State team to perform, and they have to do it tomorrow against the Indiana team that is going to be hungry. Yep. Them cities ain't coming to play. They're going to be ready. Hey, Freddie, I said David versus Goliath. Yeah, that's on paper. On the field, I don't think it is David versus Goliath. No, Indiana's got them playing really well. Tomorrow on BMK, we'll look back at Doug Flutie's incredible Hail Mary 4 years ago to the day. We're going to hear from both head coaches, Ohio State Ryan Day and Indiana Scripture Day. Plus, a live performance from Ohio Zone, the Blackies. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Take the underscore.
Not waiting for that, can't wait for the basketball playoffs to get started. But as of right now, here's the trade before the team right this evening. Miami's on to Texas, Miami, Oregon, Oregon State, to Ohio State, and Indiana.
You know what I love about that? Look at these matchups. But what I also love about it is that's not going to look the same when you play against everybody.
It's the big thing. Jumping on the ground, but you know what? Right now, we need to matchup tomorrow. That's for sure. We're talking about Ohio State, we're talking about Indiana. Indiana State has a lot of prove, even though they're 10-0. But what's going to determine who wins this game and why?
Well, I kind of keep going back to the quarterback, Will Howard. He's had a fabulous year. I think Chip Kelly, and we talked about this many times, I think he might have been another one down at the running this offense, getting Will Howard to play in the elite level. He's number 3 in the country in quarterback efficiency, 72%, 2,500 yards, no touchdowns, 20, a lot of touchdowns, 24 touchdowns, 6 rushes. So he's playing with it. But when you're a quarterback, Ohio State already can beat up the run. They've been playing musical chairs very loosely. They lost the starting center, Seth McLaughlin, and so now they got him struggling with that again. And we know that the center, he's the most important decisions on that offense behind the quarterback. I mean, there's a lot going on in terms of identifying protections, winning games. And so we need to see how that goes. If they don't play at the same level, that offensive line that they have been, can Will Howard still elevate his game and be that distributor to all the weapons?
In addition to Walton, they also lost their starting left tackle to begin the season for Ohio State. And Indiana has a really good defense, one of the best in FBS High. Watch out for them tomorrow.
So, let's see how tuned this is right now. I'll start with E. Get it in the A5. Monochromatic tuner. D4. G3. G. B. B needs to go up a little. B2. So there's a problem with B2, huh? It's nothing. Anyways, Are we considered to be tuned? YouTube. Alexa, what day of the week is January 1st, 2025? So, YouTube's
January
got
1st, 2025.
a lot of
is on
good
Wednesday.
stuff. I think right now there's a Taylor Swift show. It's Friday night. There's a Taylor Swift concert. So it happens to be this late. Let's see what's happening. YouTube Taylor Swift. Alexa, what day of the week is January 1st, 2026?
January 1st, 2026 is on a Thursday.
$39,000 people watching the Taylor Swift show in Canada, Toronto. So I can donate to that just because. See what happens, because last night my connectivity was a little bit low. Happens in the world. I think so. Taylor Swift's last show is in December in Vancouver. I've been to Vancouver. So once. 40,000 people watching the Swift show tonight. Subscribe. Is Amir Shah. Hey, my name is Shaw. So we go donate to Taylor Swift. Donate. Hate. Don't hate. Donate. Don't hate. Donate. It's a charity, right? Don't hate. Donate. In the name of. Super chat. $1.99 from Nate. $4.99 from Nate. $10 from Nate. Obviously. Yeah, I've got like, I'm kind of invested in Taylor Swift a little bit. I listened to Pretty Hate Machine today. So, you know, Trent Reznor, I've seen Trent Reznor live. I've seen Nine Inch Nails live, Trent Reznor live. I've also seen Taylor Swift. Super chat. $9.99. So, we are listening to, from 1989, Taylor Swift. Wonderful song. I'm gonna say wait for the next song. I think that's probably what to do here. So Taylor Swift's birthday is in December. She will be 35. Alexa, what day of the week is December 13th, 2025?
December 13th, 2025 is on a Saturday.
So I've been listening to F-35 a little bit. It's all about the Joint Strike Fighter. Such fun. So I'm gonna put this over here, but my Thunderbird shirt doesn't fit. So I need to lose weight. I hang it on the skateboard. $25 at Travis Air Force Base for a Thunderbird shirt, and then the hat was only $5 back in 2017. So I've also got Frisbees. They've never been charged up. These Frisbees say 16 million colors. And I've got a little NASA sticker over the port, but those will, $25, Amazon to have them sent smartly to your designated preference somewhere on Earth, I hope. I figure I ordered four of them, so I've got $100 invested in Amazon Frisbees there. Just, you know, just in case. How many colors that would have to be, because realistically, I want to shoot them with my drone eventually, but you know, one at a time. 16 million colors. So Lars Ulrich did sign this guitar, but you know what? It faded all the way off to black. All it has is BC Rich in the headstock. That was last year. As far as I know, this guitar lives in Austria for a while. I bought it a couple years ago. 2008. Took forever to get here. It's kind of sad. $100 shipping though. It's almost not in one piece. That's why I had insurance. This painting on the neck is a sticker. That is of The Rock. You might be able to see that. There's a lady named Julia. She has watercolor stickers. I got the last summer, but I think that's supposed to be Goat Rock, or maybe a different beach. But so nice stickers, watercolor stickers. I bought some. Still on the board. All right, I'm on the board with donating $9 to Taylor tonight. Don't hate, donate. I guess Venmo is working. Or does that come straight out of my account? Kind of a YouTube nut right now. So those nuts have the hex. See the nut with the Allen hex in it? Keeps it right, so tuning isn't an issue there. And the neck through design is kind of a must. It just has to happen. I end up with all sorts of problems otherwise. Sometimes a little. So what's going on? I have a Banksy calendar. So this calendar I've had all year, or since maybe February. That's a Banksy, but there's only one left for December. So that's the seagull eating French fries, I think. Out of the bowl. Levels here 26, 27, 28, 49. Level 49. We've got Taylor Swift at the comfort of our own home. So, I think you ran into the connectivity there. the golden egg. So, what that reminds me of? Alice in Chains, Here Comes the Rooster. Kiefer Sutherland plays Here Comes the Rooster really well. Just I haven't seen him do that myself. With my naked eyeballs wide shut. So this comes from Amazing Grace. Just an instrument, really. Hey, Romeo. Where you been, love? This also is a good one. This is a real obsidian arrowhead hat. So, there have been Native Americans in the Bay Area for 10,000 years. I don't know how long exactly it takes to make an arrowhead. But, you know, what it's used for too. So, about $34 for that. I've got Artemis on the tone knob of this thing. Alexa, who is the president of Greece right now?
The current president of Greece is Katerina Sakelaropoulou.
So I just usually leave the tone knob open because it really doesn't make that difference. You know, but this, as I said, is not I think that the fact that a lot of volume halves. I've got 4-channel Viva transmitter and receiver for it too, which is good for going off stage and that's 49 with it down. Level 35. I love this song. Keeping the golden egg here with me in my pocket.
Thank you for the gifts. I am gonna sing, just a heads up.
So I got two of those tapestries. The other one, about $37 off the, I think it's kind of like a bridge, but it's nice. I like the gold. So I lost my backpack somehow. I was flying Southwest home in 1994. My backpack disappeared with coins in it. Must have been some coins from 1500s, but I don't know where that backpack went. We never found it. Chinese coins, little square holes in them.
Thank you all for the gifts. Thank you for the likes, follows, shares. Thank you.
Alexa, volume level 10. Alexa, play F35 Audible.
Here you go.
Alexa, what is the 16 Psyche asteroid? Alexa, what is the 16 Psyche asteroid?
Chemical.org. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor who can diagnose mental health conditions and prescribe medication for treatment.
Alexa, what is the 16 Psyche asteroid?
16 Psyche is a large M-type asteroid, which was discovered by the Italian astronomer Annibale de Gasparis on March 17, 1852, and named after the Greek goddess Psyche.
Alexa, what is the 16 Psyche asteroid worth?
The net worth of a 16 psychiatrist varies based on factors such as their level of experience, location, specialty, and employer. However, on average, a psychiatrist can earn an annual salary of $267,412.
Alexa, what is the estimated value of the 16 Psyche asteroid?
The estimated value of the 16 Psyche asteroid is $700 quintillion. This estimate is based on early assessments of the asteroid's total net worth, which is attributed to its significant heavy metal content. 16 Psyche is considered a promising target for future space miners due to its potential for substantial financial gain.
Alexa, play Artemis Audible.
Okay. Harvest by Tess Gerritsen.
Alexa,
The audiobook.
Alexa, stop. Alexa, play Artemis Audible.
Resuming Artemis from Audible. There's about 12 minutes left in this chapter and about 13 minutes left in this book.
You're going to put it in a drawer somewhere and keep it for emergencies. But I'm deporting you right now. No, you're not. I leaned back in the chair and crossed my legs. Why not? Everyone seems to forget this, but I'm a smuggler. Not a saboteur, not an action hero, not a city planner. A smuggler. I worked hard to set up my operation, and it runs smoothly. In the beginning, I had competition, but not anymore. I drove them out of business by having lower prices, better service, and a reputation for keeping my word. She narrowed her eyes. You must be going somewhere with this, but I don't see where. Have you ever seen guns in Artemis, other than the one you have in your desk right now? She shook her head. No. How about hard drugs? Heroin, opium, that sort of thing? Not at any scale, she said. Sometimes Rudy catches a tourist with a personal stash, but it's rare. Ever wonder why that shit doesn't get into town? I pointed to my chest. Because I don't let it. No drugs, no guns, and I have a bunch of other rules too. I keep flammables to a minimum, and no life plans. Last thing we need is some weird mold infestation. Yes, you're very ethical, but what happens when I'm gone? I asked. Do you think smuggling will just stop? No. There'll be a short power vacuum. Then someone else will take over. No idea who. But will they be as civic-minded as me? Probably not. She raised an eyebrow. I pressed on. This city's about to have a Sappho boom. There's going to be jobs galore, construction, and an influx of workers. There'll be new customers for every business in town. New companies will open to keep up with the demand. The population will spike. You've already got estimates, right?
Artemis was written by It's a Plan to Return to the Moon since 1972.
There you
minus
go.
Space Next.
More people means more
So that would be
thousands of people who might want drugs.
Andy Weir.
Shitloads of money flying around, which means more crime. Those criminals who want guns.
Doing really well as a local
Prize
author.
them through whatever smuggling system the black market.
I'm not a Space Next fan.
What kind of city do you want
Ron Dust
to
has
be?
got frisbees, but he doesn't have
The
the balls
That's
with itself. I'll
Alright,
try and see
so you
something
have
else next time.
That'll keep me from getting anything.
As best we can remember.
She thought about this for an uncomfortably long time. Without breaking eye contact, she pulled a deportation order off her desk and put it in a drawer. A sigh of relief. We still have the proper no punishment bill. She leaned forward to an antiquated keyboard computer and began typing. She ran her finger along the screen. According to this, your account balance is 585,966 silks. Yeah, why? I thought Lenny paid you $1 million. How did you know? Never mind. I paid off the
Somehow
debt.
Travis Kelsey's house got robbed the other day.
I think some restitution is in order. A fine, if you will. What? Is that both of them? Artemis doesn't have fines. Coins.
People are surviving the election, but there's no one there.
Funds. There's nothing voluntary about it. Sure that is. She settled back into her chair. You can keep all your money and get deported instead. Well, this was a win for me. I could always make more money, but I couldn't get undeported. She had a point. If she didn't punish them, any asshole could do what I did and expect to get away with it. I have to take this now. Okay. How much? 550,000 sludge should cover it. I gasped. Are you fucking kidding me? She smiled. It's like you said. I need you to control smuggling. If you have a bunch of money, you might retire. And then you're valuable. It's best to keep your money. Logically, I came out way ahead. I cleared my conscience. But still, the prospect of
My lobster ate the snail, so I had a mystery snail. Now it's just a broken
she
shell.
smiled with the realization. And thanks for volunteering yourself as Artemis's unpaid,
Got a little male lobster.
regulatory body.
Alexa, stop. $19.32. So I'm plugged directly into 116 with Boulevard here. No transmitters or receivers, just me, my guitar, and the wall. So I've got Wi-Fi on the light, that's part of the problem. That's not really an issue. Alexa, volume level 10. Alexa, who is Steve Gorham? Alexa, who is Bart Simpson?
Bartholomew Jojo Bart Simpson is a fictional character in the American animated television series The Simpsons and part of the Simpson family.
I think someone said he was because she did the Archer pose. We'll see if she sings the Karma's the guy on the Chiefs. I hope she is. Wait. Yeah, you should. Chat, is Travis here?
recorded many songs from previous albums slash eras. And really, it's been really fun because it's a challenge for me every single night to be like, what might they like to hear? What haven't they heard in a while? And so it's always different. I'll do something on guitar, like I'll do something on piano, and we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck. The wrong key. So wish me more luck than that.
I brought Misu out. Misu's my friend. She's out for blood sometimes though. She's got 20 little scratchers there. Misu, you ever gonna find the Decepticons? She hasn't knocked over the Shark Tank, my aquarium yet, but Sas has a sprinkler system, so she's here for Romeo's friend. She's really a fat black cat though. Yep, she's intact, so someday I'm never gonna let Misu get out for like, got like little black Satan's kittens, little Luciferians. But you know, that would probably take just a second. Taylor Swift is going acoustic. Sounds good. That painting there. I like that painting. I got it in North Beach, then on the wall. Let's see, it's a redhead with a tail. I think it's like maybe the sort of a mermaid type painting. Under the sonic clock. Reminds me of a pilot, I guess. A redhead. I came back with my acoustic guitar. It's just so much fun. I got to see Gracie Abrams. Zoom in there. Alone on a Friday night. Alexa, volume level 10. Alexa, play Sphere Audible.
Sorry, something went wrong.
Alexa, play Sphere by Michael Crichton Audible.
Resuming Sphere from Audible.
Honolulu. You're from Honolulu. Mozart would be better for dining, Barnes said. Or Beethoven. Something with strings. This organ music is gloomy. Dramatic, Ted said. playing imaginary keys in the air in time with the music, swaying his body like James Mason. Gloomy, Barnes said. The intercom crackled. Oh, you should see this, Edmonds said over the intercom. It's beautiful. Where is she? She must be outside, Barnes said. He went to the porthole. It's like pink snow, Edmonds said. They all got up and went to the portholes. Edmonds was outside with the video camera. They could hardly see her through the dense clouds of jellyfish. The jellyfish were small, the size of a thimble, and a delicate glowing pink. It was indeed like a snowfall. Some of the jellyfish came quite close to the porthole. They could see them well. They have no tentacles, Harry said. They're just little pulsating sacs. That's how they move, Beth said. Muscular contractions expel the water. Like squid, Ted said. Not as developed, but the general idea. They're sticky, Edmonds said over the intercom. They're sticking to my suit. That pink color is fantastic, Ted said. Like snow in a sunset. Very poetic. I thought so. You would. They're sticking to my faceplate too, Edmonds said. I have to pull them off. They leave a smeary streak. She broke off abruptly, but they could still hear her breathing. Can you see her? Ted said. Not very well. She's there to the left. Over the intercom, Edmonds said, They seem to be warm. I feel heat on my arms and legs. That's not right, Barnes said. He turned to Tina. Tell her to get out of there. Tina ran from the cylinder toward the communications console. Norman could hardly see Edmonds anymore. He was vaguely aware of a dark shape, moving arms, agitated. Over the intercom, she said, The smear on the faceplate. It won't go away. They seem to be eroding the plastic. What? And my arms. The fabric is... Tina's voice said, Jane, get out of there. On the double, Barnes shouted. Tell her on the double. Edmonds' breathing was coming in ragged gasps. The smears. Can't see very well. I feel... hurts. My arm's burning. Hurts. They're eating through. Jane, come back. Jane, are you reading? Jane! She's fallen down, Harry said. Look, you can see her lying. We have to save her, Ted said, jumping to his feet. Nobody move, Barnes said. But nobody else is going out there, mister. Edmonds' breathing was rapid. She coughed, gasped. I can't. Oh, God. Edmonds began to scream. The scream was high-pitched and continuous, except for ragged gasps for breath. They could no longer see her through the swarms of jellyfish. They looked at each other, at Barnes. Barnes's face was rigidly set, his jaw tight, listening to the screams. And then, abruptly, there was silence. The next messages. An hour later, the jellyfish disappeared as mysteriously as they had come. They could see Edmonds' body outside the habitat, lying on the bottom, rocking back and forth gently in the current. There were small, ragged holes in the fabric of the suit. They watched through the portholes as Barnes and the Chief Petty Officer, Teeny Fletcher, crossed the bottom into the harsh floodlights, carrying extra air tanks. They lifted Edmonds' body. The helmeted head flopped loosely back, revealing the scarred plastic faceplate, dull in the light. Nobody spoke. Norman noticed that even Harry had dropped his manic effect. He sat unmoving, staring out the window. Outside, Barnes and Fletcher still held the body. There was a great burst of silvery bubbles, which rose slowly to the surface. What are they doing? Inflating her suit. Why? Aren't they bringing her back? Ted said. They can't, Tina said. There's nowhere to put her here. The decomposition byproducts would ruin our air. But there must be some kind of sealed container. There isn't, Tina said. There's no provision for keeping organic remains in the habitat. You mean they didn't plan on anyone dying? That's right. They didn't. Now there were many thin streams of bubbles rising from the holes in the suit toward the surface. Edmonds' suit was popped, loaded. Barnes released it, and it floated slowly away, as if pulled upward by the streaming silver bubbles. It'll go to the surface? Yes. The gas expands continuously as outside pressure diminishes. And what then? Sharks, Beth said. Probably. In a few moments, the body disappeared into blackness, beyond the reach of the lights. Barnes and Fletcher still watched the body, helmets tilted up toward the surface. Fletcher made the sign of the cross. Then they trudged back toward the habitat. A bell rang from somewhere inside. Tina went into D-Cell. Moments later, she shouted, "Dr. Adams, more numbers." Harry got up and went into the next cylinder. The others trailed after him. Nobody wanted to look out the porthole any longer. Norman stared at the screen, entirely puzzled. But Harry clapped his hands in delight. "Excellent," Harry said. "This is extremely helpful." "It is?" "Of course. Now I have a fighting chance." "You mean to break the code?" "Yes, of course." "Why?" "Remember the original number sequence? This is the same sequence." "It is?" "Of course," Harry said. "Except it's in binary." "Binary," Ted said, nudging Norman. "Didn't I tell you binary was important?" "What's important," Harry said, "is that this establishes the individual letter breaks from the original sequence." "Here's a copy of the original sequence," Tina said, handing them a sheet. "Good," Harry said. "Now you can see my problem at once. Look at the word, 000321 and so on. The question is, how do I break that word up into individual letters? I couldn't decide, but now I know. How? Well, obviously, it goes 3, 21, 25, 25. Norman didn't understand. "But how do you know that?" "Look," Harry said impatiently. "It's very simple, Norman. It's a spiral, reading from inside to outside. It's just giving us the numbers and..." Abruptly, the screen changed again. "There. Is that clearer for you?" Norman frowned. "Look, it's exactly the same," Harry said. "See? Center outward. 0003, 21, 25, 25. It's made a spiral moving outward from the center. Maybe it's sorry about what happened to Edmonds," Harry said. "Why do you say that?" Norman asked, staring curiously at Harry. "Because it's obviously trying very hard to communicate with us," Harry said. "It's attempting different things." "Who is it?" "It," Harry said, "may not be a who." The screen went blank, and another pattern appeared. "All right," Harry said. "This is very good. Where is this coming from?" "Obviously from the ship." "But we're not connected to the ship. How is it managing to turn on our computer and print this?" "We don't know." "Well, shouldn't we know?" Beth said. "Not necessarily," Ted said. "Shouldn't we try to know?" "Not necessarily. You see, if the technology is advanced enough, it appears to the naive observer to be magic. There's no doubt about that. For example, you take a famous scientist from our past, Aristotle, Leonardo da Vinci, even Isaac Newton. Show him an ordinary Sony color television set, and he'd run screaming, claiming it was witchcraft. He wouldn't understand it at all. But the point, Ted said, is that you couldn't explain it to him either. At least not easily. Isaac Newton wouldn't be able to understand TV without first studying our physics for a couple of years. He'd have to learn all the underlying concepts, electromagnetism, waves, particle physics. These would all be new ideas to him, a new conception of nature. In the meantime, the TV would be magic as far as he was concerned. But to us, it's ordinary. It's TV. You're saying we're like Isaac Newton? Ted shrugged. We're getting a communication, and we don't know how it's done. And we shouldn't bother to try and find out. I think we may have to accept the possibility, Ted said, that we may not be able to understand it. Norman noticed the energy with which they threw themselves into this discussion, pushing aside the tragedy so recently witnessed. They're intellectuals, he thought, and their characteristic defense is intellectualization. Talk, ideas, abstractions, concepts. It was a way of getting distance from the feelings of sadness and fear and being trapped. Norman understood the impulse. He wanted to get away from those feelings himself. Harry frowned at the spiral image. We may not understand how, but it's obvious what it's doing. It's trying to communicate by trying different presentations. The fact that it's trying spirals may be significant. Maybe it believes we think in spirals, or write in spirals. Right, Beth said. Who knows what kind of weird creatures we are? Ted said, if it's trying to communicate with us, why aren't we trying to communicate back? Harry snapped his fingers. Good idea. He went to the keyboard. There's an obvious first step, Harry said. We just send the original message back. We'll start with the first grouping, beginning with the double zeros. I want it made clear, Ted said, that the suggestion to attempt communication with the alien originated with me. It's clear, Ted, Barnes said. Harry, Ted said. Yes, Ted, Harry said. Don't worry, it's your idea. Sitting at the keyboard, Harry typed 000321252252632. The numbers appeared on the screen. There was a pause. They listened to the hum of the air fans, the distant thump of the diesel generator. They all watched the screen. Nothing happened. The screen went blank, and then printed out 000113121051808012232. Norman felt the hair rise on the back of his neck. It was just a series of numbers on a computer screen, but it still gave him a chill. Standing beside him, Tina shivered. He answered us. Fabulous, Ted said. I'll try the second grouping now, Harry said. He seemed calm, but his fingers kept making mistakes at the keyboard. It took a few moments before he was able to type 032629. The reply immediately came back. 0015260805180810213. Well, Harry said, looks like we just opened our line of communication. Yes, Beth said. Too bad we don't understand what we're saying to each other. Presumably it knows what it's saying, Ted said, but we're still in the dark. Maybe we can get it to explain itself. Impatiently, Barnes said, What is this it you keep referring to? Harry sighed and pushed his glasses up on his nose. I think there's no doubt about that. It, Harry said, is something that was previously inside the sphere, and it is now released and is free to act. That's what it is. The monster. Alarm. Norman awoke to a shrieking alarm and flashing red lights. He rolled out of his bunk, pulled on his insulated shoes and his heated jacket, and ran for the door, where he collided with Beth. The alarm was screaming throughout the habitat. What's happening? He shouted over the alarm. I don't know. Her face was pale, frightened. Norman pushed past her. In the B cylinder, among all the pipes and consoles, a flashing sign winked, "Life Support Emergency." He looked for Teeny Fletcher, but the big engineer wasn't there. He hurried back towards C cylinder, passing Beth again. "Do you know?" Beth shouted. "It's life support. Where's Fletcher? Where's Barnes?" "I don't know. I'm looking." "There's nobody in B," he shouted and scrambled up the steps into D cylinder. Tina and Fletcher were there, working behind the computer consoles. The back panels were pulled off, exposing wires, banks of chips. The room lights were flashing red. The screens all flashed emergency, life support systems. "What's going on?" Norman shouted. Fletcher waved a hand dismissively. "Tell me!" He turned, saw Harry sitting in the corner near Edmonds's video section like a zombie, with a pencil and a pad of paper on his knee. He seemed completely indifferent to the sirens, the lights flashing on his face. "Harry!" Harry didn't respond. Norman turned back to the two women. "For God's sake, will you tell me what it is?" Norman shouted. And then the sirens stopped. The screens went blank. There was silence, except for soft classical music. "Sorry about that," Tina said. "It was a false alarm," Fletcher said. "Jesus Christ," Norman said, dropping into a chair. He took a deep breath. "Were you asleep?" He nodded. "Sorry, it just went off by itself." "Jesus Christ." "The next time it happens, you can check your badge," Fletcher said, pointing to the badge on her own chest. "That's the first thing to do. You see, the badges are all normal now." "Jesus Christ." "Take it easy, Norman," Harry said. "When the psychiatrist goes crazy, it's a bad sign." "I'm a psychologist." "Whatever." Tina said, "Our computer alarm has a lot of peripheral sensors, Dr. Johnson. It goes off sometimes. There's not much we can do about it." Norman nodded, went into E-Sill to the galley. Levy had made strawberry shortcake for lunch, and nobody had eaten it because of the accident with Edmonds. He was sure it would still be there, but when he couldn't find it, he felt frustrated. He opened cabinet doors, slammed them shut. He kicked the refrigerator door. Take it easy, he thought. It was just a false alarm. But he couldn't overcome the feeling that he was trapped, stuck in some damned oversized iron lung, while things slowly fell apart around him. The worst moment had been Barnes's briefing, when he came back from sending Edmonds's body to the surface. Barnes had decided it was time to make a little speech, deliver a little pep talk. "I know you're all upset about Edmonds," he had said, "but what happened to her was an accident. Perhaps she made an error of judgment in going out among jellyfish. Perhaps not. The fact is, accidents happen under the best of circumstances, and the deep sea is a particularly unforgiving environment." Listening, Norman thought, he's writing his report, explaining it away to the brass. "Right now," Barnes was saying, "I urge you all to remain calm. It's 16 hours since the gale hit topside. We just sent up a sensor balloon to the surface. Before we could make readings, the cable snapped, which suggests that surface waves are still 30 feet or higher, and the gale is still in full force. The weather satellite estimates were for a 60-hour storm on site, so we have 2 more full days down here. Where the hell was Levy anyway?" He went back to D-Sill. "Where the hell was Levy anyway?" He went back to D-Sill. "Where's Levy?" "Dunno," Tina said. "Around here somewhere. Maybe sleeping." "Nobody could sleep through that alarm," Norman said. "Try the galley?" "I just did. Where's Barnes?" He went back to the ship with Ted. They're putting more sensors around the sphere. "I told them it was a waste of time," Harry said. "So nobody knows where Levy is," Norman said. Fletcher finished screwing the computer panels back on. "Doctor," she said, "are you one of those people who need to keep track of where everyone is?" "No," Norman said. Of course not. Then what's the big deal about Levy, sir? I only wanted to know where the strawberry shortcake was. Gone, Fletcher said promptly. Captain and I came back from funeral duty and we sat down and ate the whole thing, just like that. She shook her head. Maybe Rose will make some more, Harry said. He found Beth in her laboratory on the top level of D-Cell. He walked in just in time to see her take a pill. What was that? Valium. God. Where'd you get it? Look, she said, don't give me any psycho talk about it. I was just asking. Beth pointed to a white box mounted on the wall in the corner of the lab. There's a first aid kit in every cylinder. Turns out to be pretty complete, too. Norman went over to the box, flipped open the lid. There were neat compartments with medicines, syringes, bandages. Beth was right. It was quite complete. Antibiotics, sedatives, tranquilizers, even surgical anesthetics. He didn't recognize all the names on the bottles, but the psychoactive drugs were strong. You could fight a war with the stuff in this kit. Yeah, well, the Navy. There's everything you need here to do major surgery. Norman noticed a card on the inside of the box. It said, MedAid Code 103. Any idea what this means? She nodded. It's a computer code. I called it up. And? The news, she said, is not good. Is that right? He sat at the terminal in her room and punched in 103. The screen said, hyperbaric saturated environment, medical complications, major, fatal. 1.01, pulmonary embolism. 1.02, high pressure nervous syndrome. 1.03, aseptic bone necrosis. 1.04, oxygen toxicity. 1.05, thermal stress syndrome. 1.06, disseminated pseudomonas infection. 1.07, cerebral infarction. Choose one. Don't choose one, Beth said. Reading the details will only upset you. Just leave it at this. We're in a very dangerous environment. Barnes didn't bother to give us all the gory details. You know why the Navy has that rule about pulling people out within 72 hours? Because after 72 hours, you increase your risk of something called aseptic bone necrosis. Nobody knows why, but the pressurized environment causes bone destruction in the leg and hip. And you know why this habitat constantly adjusts as we walk through it? It's not because that's slick and high-tech. It's because the helium atmosphere makes body heat control very volatile. You can quickly become overheated and just as quickly over-chilled. Fatally so. It can happen so fast you don't realize it until it's too late and you drop dead. And high-pressure nervous syndrome, that turns out to be sudden convulsions, paralysis, and death if the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere drops too low. That's what the badges are for, to make sure we have enough CO2 in the air. That's the only reason we have the badges. Nice, huh? Norman flicked off the screen, sat back. Well, I keep coming back to the same point. There's not much we can do about it now. Exactly what Barnes said. Beth started pushing equipment around on her countertop nervously, rearranging things. Too bad we don't have a sample of those jellyfish, Norman said. Yes, but I'm not sure how much good it would do, to tell the truth. She frowned, shifted papers on the counter again. Norman, I'm not thinking very clearly down here. How's that? After the, accident, I came up here to look over my notes, review things, and I checked the shrimps. Remember how I told you they didn't have any stomach? Well, they do. I'd made a bad dissection out of the mid-sagittal plane. I just missed all the midline structures. But they're there all right. The shrimps are normal. And the squid? It turns out the one squid I dissected was a little anomalous. It had an atrophic gill, but it had one. And the other squid are perfectly normal, just what you would expect. I was wrong, too hasty. It really bothers me. Is that why you took the Valium? She nodded. I hate to be sloppy. Nobody's criticizing you. If Harry or Ted reviewed my work and found that I made these stupid mistakes, what's wrong with a mistake? I can hear them now. Just like a woman. Not careful enough, too eager to make a discovery, trying to prove herself, too quick to draw conclusions. Just like a woman. Nobody's criticizing you, Beth. I am. Nobody else, Norman said. I think you ought to give yourself a break. She stared at the lab bench. Finally, she said, I can't. Something about the way she said it touched him. I understand, Norman said, and a memory came rushing back to him. You know, when I was a kid, I went to the beach with my younger brother, Tim. He's dead now, but Tim was about 6 at the time. He couldn't swim yet. My mother told me to watch him carefully, but when I got to the beach, all my friends were there, body surfing. I didn't want to be bothered with my brother. It was hard because I wanted to be out in the big surf, and he had to stay close to shore. Anyway, in the middle of the afternoon, he comes out of the water screaming bloody murder, absolutely screaming, and tugging at his right side. It turned out he had been stung by some kind of a jellyfish. It was still attached to him, sticking to his side. Then he collapsed on the beach. One of the mothers ran over and took Timmy to the hospital before I could even get out of the water. I didn't know where he had gone. I got to the hospital later. My mother was already there. Tim was in shock. I guess the poison was a heavy dose for his small body. Anyway, nobody blamed me. It wouldn't have mattered if I had been sitting right on the beach watching him like a hawk. He would still have been stung. But I hadn't been sitting there, and I blamed myself for years, long after he was fine. Every time I'd see those scars on his side, I felt terrible guilt. But you get over it. You're not responsible for everything that happens in the world. You just aren't. There was a silence. Somewhere in the habitat, he heard a soft rhythmic knocking, a sort of thumping, and the ever-present hum of the air handlers. Beth was staring at him. Seeing Edmonds die must have been hard for you. It's funny, Norman said. I never made the connection until right now. Blood did, I guess. Want a Valium? He smiled. No. You looked as if you were about to cry. No, I'm fine. He stood up, stretched. He went over to the medicine kit and closed the white lid. Came back. Beth said, what do you think about these messages we're getting? Beats me, Norman said. He sat down again. Actually, I did have one crazy thought. Do you suppose the messages and these animals we're seeing are related? Why? I never thought about it until we started to get spiral messages. Harry says it's because the famous it, believes we think in spirals. But it's just as likely that it thinks in spirals, and so it assumes we do too. The sphere is round, isn't it? And we've been seeing all these radially symmetrical animals. Jellyfish, squid. Nice idea, Beth said. Except for the fact that squid aren't radially symmetrical. An octopus is. And like an octopus, squid have a round circle of tentacles, but squid are bilaterally symmetrical, with a matching left and right side, the way we have. And then there's the shrimps. That's right, the shrimps. Norman had forgotten about the shrimps. I can't see a connection between the sphere and the animals, Beth said. They heard the thumping again, soft, rhythmic. Sitting in his chair, Norman realized that he could feel the thumping as well.
Alexa,
as a slight
stop. Alexa, volume level 7. Alexa, It's a collector's limited edition of 8,500 pieces, and it comes with some sort of a bonus item. So the manual art as well is same cost, $24.99. All sorts of stuff going on there as well. But I'll need 7-Eleven and they're another day 2024. This is Dave, the sports basement. I found they got it from Nevada. Oh my God. I didn't think they existed. What?
Resuming Elon Musk from Audible. There's about 7 minutes left in this chapter and about 5 hours, 12 minutes left in this book.
He told me, if there was a way that I could not eat so I could work more, I would not eat. I wish there was a way to get nutrients without sitting down for a meal. The enormity of his work ethic at that age and his intensity jumped out. It seemed like one of the more unusual things I had ever heard. She recalled one that left her thinking. During his time at Queen's, he met Navid Farouk, who happened to be his roommate. They got along very well, with Musk calling him a great guy, and being thankful for the fact that he attended all the lectures and let Elon borrow his notes. Musk himself went to the least number of classes possible and spent his time selling computer parts or PCs built by him to make some extra money. He would build something to suit their needs, like a tricked-out gaming machine or a simple word processor that cost less than what they could get in a store, Musk said. Or if their computer didn't boot properly or had a virus, I'd fix it. I could pretty much solve any problem. Although not very keen on going to courses, in his college years, Musk stood out more than in high school by attending public speaking competitions and displaying some character traits that define him today, like stubbornness and his intensity regarding his goals. When asked about Musk, Farouk described him as follows. When Elon gets into something, he develops just this different level of interest in it than other people. That is what differentiates Elon from the rest of humanity. The two remained good friends. Queen's was a great experience for the young Elon Musk, but at the University of Pennsylvania, he found something new. People that thought like him. May reminisced back to those times. There were some nerds there. He so enjoyed them. I remember going for lunch with them, and they were talking physics things. They were saying A plus B equals pi squared, or whatever. They would laugh out loud. It was cool to see him so happy. At Penn, he met Hideo Resi, one of Elon's lifelong friends. During the week, they would study together, but come the weekend, and their place became a certified nightclub. Resi was the one that knew how to build up the atmosphere, decorating the words with bright colors and weird objects, putting garbage bags on the windows to make the room darker, and so on. They charged $5 for entry, and they offered the whole package with drinks and whatever they would need. Their success was greater than expected, and they could gather up as many as 500 people in a day of activity. Resi was a very free spirit regarding his art, and one time he went as far as nailing Elon's desk to a wall and painting it in glowing colors. Musk retaliated by getting his desk down. Elon was not the party kind of guy. He did not drink, but he made sure that everything was in check. I was paying my own way through college and could make an entire month's rent in one night. Hideo was in charge of doing cool shit around the house, and I would run the party. For him, the parties were a means to an end, not a source of entertainment. Resi talked about Elon's behavior during the parties. Elon was the most straight-laced dude you have ever met. He never drank, he never did anything. Zero. Literally nothing. Also at Penn, he went further on with his interests by writing 3 innovative papers. 1. The importance of being solar. The material predicted how solar power will rise and how solar cells would function, along with a drawing for the power station of the future. He received a 98 mark on it. 2. About electronically scanning books and documents and putting them into a database. 3. Ultracapacitors, one of his favorite subjects, as he found them to be potential energy storage for his future ventures. He got a 97 mark and the teacher's praises. To the latter, he mentioned the result from a Silicon Valley research. The end result represents the first new means of storing significant amounts of electrical energy since the development of the battery and fuel cell. Furthermore, because the ultracapacitor retains the basic properties of a capacitor, it can deliver its energy over 100 times faster than a battery of equivalent weight, and be recharged just as quickly. Saying that he was excited about ultracapacitors might be an understatement, but what the teacher was most surprised of was Musk's ability to take physics concepts and put them in actual business plans, a trait that helped Elon Musk succeed in all his ventures. In that span of time, Musk began to seriously consider his future. He was a total video game nerd, so the thought of getting into the business came to his mind more than once. I really like computer games, but then if I made really great computer games, how much effect would that have on the world? It wouldn't have a big effect. Even though I have an intrinsic love of video games, I couldn't bring myself to do that as a career. His childhood motivation for doing something big, something that would save the world, was greater than his love for video games. While other future Silicon Valley entrepreneurs sniffed out trends, Musk was identifying the areas that would change the most in the coming years: renewable energy, space, and the internet. He decided then that he would leave his mark on them all, and he shared that with anyone that was willing to listen. Mostly his ex-girlfriends and ultimately his ex-wives. Skeptics don't really buy into this master plan idea that Musk knew from the very beginning what he was going to do. But according to him, I really was thinking about this stuff in college. It is not some invented story after the fact. I don't want to seem like a Johnny-come-lately, or that I'm chasing a fad, or just being opportunistic. I'm not an investor. I like to make technologies real that I think are important for the future and useful in some sort of way. He paid his own expenses through college life with his nightclub gig and whatever money he managed to make out of PC sales. Elon wanted to further his studies in energy physics with a PhD at Stanford University, but this moment in his life coincided with the internet boom and the economic bubble, which oversaw an extreme growth in the usage and potential of the internet. After only 2 days at Stanford, an ambitious Musk dropped out in order to be part of the new economic era by launching his first company, Zip2 Corporation, despite having a $110,000 college debt. Elon Musk is not the type of guy that looks down on others regarding their educational status. In 2018, when a Harvard graduate bragged about how you can't succeed in life without a degree, and implying a sense of superiority over his schooling pedigree, Musk promptly replied to his arrogant tweet. He pointed out that schooling should not be confused with education, and while he himself did not attend the prestigious university, some people that worked for him did. Chapter 2: Zip2 Corporation. Before Zip2. In the summer of 1994, Musk was mostly in Silicon Valley, holding down some internships. During the day, he worked at Pinnacle Research Institute, which was a startup where researchers studied ultracapacitors and their potential of being used as fuels. Musk already had a deep interest in ultracapacitors, and he enjoyed his work at Pinnacle and even used it as inspiration for his papers at Penn. In evenings, Musk worked at the Rocket Science Games, another startup, but this time a video games focused one, which had the ambition of moving games from cartridges to CDs, adding production quality to the games. He had a very easy coding job there, which required him to write drivers that would allow mice and joysticks to work with different computers and for different games. But he did not like this easy task, so he went on to do his own thing. I was basically trying to figure out how you could multitask stuff, so you could read video from a CD while running a game at the same time. At the time, you could do one or the other. It was this complicated bit of assembly programming. He explained his endeavors. He was stubborn and unflappable, so people at the Rocket Science Games just let him do whatever he wanted. When the call of the internet became irresistible, both Musk brothers moved together to start on their web journey. His first business idea came to Musk while attending to his internships. A salesperson from the Yellow Pages came one day and tried to sell his idea of listing companies online, but he sold his idea very poorly. Elon, however, saw the potential and he told Kimball about a business in which they could help companies go online. Elon said, "These guys don't know what they are talking about. Maybe this is something we can do." Kimball remembered a part of that conversation. The company. Zip2, or the Global Link Information Network, was a company that provided local businesses with an internet presence, as well as assisting newspapers in creating and licensing online city guides. It was founded in 1995 by Musk, his brother, and Greg Corey, after Musk acquired a disk that contained a business directory and managed to persuade Navtech, an electronic navigation maps provider, to offer him a mapping software for free. He created a code that merged the two separate databases together, maps and businesses, and reasoned that anyone should be able to find the closest pizza place and have a way of getting there. Initially, investors were hard to come by, and Musk and co. lived in their office in order to keep expenses at a minimum. Musk later remarked how hard those times were for him and his brother. Besides sleeping on couches, they showered at the YMCA, and they had it so rough that they only had one computer. He worked relentlessly, 7 days a week, spending all nights coding so the site could be up during the day. In a Twitter post, he recollected the type of work that he did at Zip2. "I wrote entire V1 of software for drawing vector maps and calculating point-to-point directions anywhere in the US, first ever company to do so, as well as white pages and business listings with reviews, and early Yelp. Also wrote V1 of classifieds, auto trading, and real estate apps." The two brothers started making hires, and they managed to assemble a sales team which included Jeff Heilman and Craig Moore. They went with a door-to-door sales strategy, and things were going slow. When Moore decided to start courting auto dealerships, nobody had any expectations, but Moore delivered. "One day I came back with about $900 in checks. I walked into the office and asked the guys what they wanted me to do with the money. Elon stopped pounding his keyboard, leaned out from behind his monitor, and said, 'No way, you've got money.'" Moore recalled that glorious moment. Their service was not perfect. It would often fail to load or load exorbitantly slow, but the Musk brothers knew how to make their product appealing to future investors. In order to impress them, they created a big case and put it on their PC and added the whole ordeal to a real base. When by chance investors were at the door, they would show off their massive machine, and some would fall for the gimmick. Even then, as essentially a college kid with zits, Elon had this drive that this thing, whatever it was, had to get done, and that if he didn't do it, he'd miss his shot. I think that's what the VC saw, that he was willing to stake his existence on building out this platform. Heilman told Ashley Barnes. The money needed for setting up the company mostly came from angel investors, but Corey himself came in with $6,000, which he gave right off the bat when the boys announced they were moving the business to California, and in 1996, he followed them. They also coerced businesses to pay for their inclusion in order to expand its listing. Founded in Palo Alto, California, the company focused on helping local businesses by providing guidance and linking their services to those that searched for them. Corey was the adult at Zip2, and he came with an experience that was much needed, serving soon as a mentor for young Musk. Derek Proudian, the chief executive officer of Zip2, described the relationship between Corey and Musk. "Really smart people sometimes don't understand that not everyone can keep up with them or go as fast. Greg is one of the few people that Elon would listen to and had a way of putting things into context for him." Corey also acted as a referee in Elon and Kimball's fights, which were actual fistfights. The brothers would fight anytime they did not agree on something, as both had very strict visions and had a hard time accepting anyone else's ideas but their own. They stopped the Fight Club only when they went over the top, and Corey put a definite end to the squabbling. Corey would go on to invest in Musk's future ventures, and Musk attended his funeral in 2012. Both he and Kimball have only kind words to say about their late mentor. Global Link received a major $3 million investment from Moore Davidow Ventures in 1996, and they officially changed the name to Zip2. Moore Davidow is a venture capital firm that focuses on startup and early stage investments with a big interest in internet services. They changed Zip2's strategy from direct localized business sales to selling national back-end software packages to news outlets in order to help them build their own directories. Besides that, they gave Zip2 the chance to hire talented engineers, which the company desperately needed. They also made Richard Sorkin CEO because he was a more experienced businessman, so the investors favored him. Musk reluctantly agreed with the change and came to regret his decision later on. Jim Ambrose, the vice president of engineering, also shared Musk's remorse. Probably the big...
The best movie. Jim with Leonardo DiCaprio. This just kind of gives Great Gatsby vibes. Just because of like the way it looks. So I think we're gonna be pulling up on that one. But I don't know yet. I'm going to the mall later today maybe to find some more stuff. And then also Chadwick owes me a few gifts today, so we shall see what I get. Time to get hype, look 10 pound weights only because I cannot exceed more than that. And I have like strong arms, but like when they look deflated, well yeah, you see this. Well once they look deflated, after I'm lifting 10 pound weights, I'd be like I'll do arms like maybe once a week, twice a week. And then later pump them back up. And then like when they get both deflated again, then actually lift weights. So I'm actually never building or planning to like maintain whatever I have. I'm gonna go get shredded and work out and store like what? Just can't rotate me to the city. If you're freaking out of mobility, Alex, literally what you go. I don't know where much you do. The worst thing on the planet. I hate to deal with the fact that and I don't know obsessions. Just like pop the
XM Triumph channel, channel 11, as well as on YouTube. You can check us out there if you'd like it.
Swiss Olympic skier Michelle shared their condolences on the FAS's Instagram post, each message a testament to the community's solidarity in the face of such a tragic event. Their tributes highlighted not only Lorenzi's talent, but also the bonds formed among athletes who shared the same passion for skiing. In a particularly moving tribute, U.S. Olympian Michaela Schifrin, one of the most accomplished skiers in history, shared her heartfelt condolences on social media. So much love to her family, friends, and teammates, she wrote, her words embodying the collective grief that swept through the skiing world. Schifrin's acknowledgement of Lorenzi's family underscored the importance of community and support during such challenging times. Retired youth Olympian Lindsey Vonn, another iconic figure in the sport, also expressed her sorrow. "This is a tragic loss," Vonn stated, adding that she was sending her thoughts to Lorenzi's family. Vonn's tribute served as a reminder of the strong bonds that exist among skiers, regardless of their nationalities or backgrounds. Lorenzi was not just an athlete, she was a rising star with an impressive track record. As part of the Italian Army sports section, she exemplified the dedication and discipline that is often required of elite athletes. Last season, she was crowned the Italian Junior Champion, a title that brought her significant recognition within the sport. Her performance in the Junior World Alpine Ski Championship
Alexa, volume level 7. November 25th.